The Machine Tool Lab, built in 1934, is surprisingly elegant for a utilitarian structure. It is one of the few Art Deco buildings on the University of Maine campus and is a lovely example of the restrained balance and proportion that informs the best early 20th century architecture. The function of the building as a training space for future engineers is beautifully reflected in the form and ornamentation of the building. Built as a replacement for the original tool lab, which was located in Lord Hall, the building has seen thousands of students pass through its doors during its 85 years of service. The building was constructed by university workmen at a cost of $35,000, which is about $700,000 today. The one-story building has the shape of a giant letter E, with 3 wings 30 feet wide by 100 feet long, containing a pattern shop, forge shop and foundry, and machine shop.
In the tool lab itself, when it was built, the forge and foundry were key parts. We had a huge foundry where we could make anything. We had a pattern shop where we'd make wood patterns, and we had a machine shop in this wing. Well, the forge and foundry is pretty much gone, as is the pattern shop. And this wing has changed quite a bit also. Once there were overhead drive shafts and many belts, we've gone through several cycles of new equipment. Now much of it is computer controlled, like you'd find in industry. This has been it's an old building, but it's been a wonderful space that's served us well. I think the people who designed it did a superb job, and things change, but it's served us really well.
I think the greatest part of this facility was getting the hands-on tools that we would need later in life. Being able to design and build in one facility with the help of professors right in the same building really added to the success of the program, or has added to the success of the program.
I think it's very important for engineering students and particularly engineering technology students to get the hands-on knowledge of what actually goes on building something. Particularly if you're going to try to design something and have somebody else build it, to try to do that and have no knowledge at all of how it's actually going to get built makes it very hard to design it correctly.
Our goal is to have the students make things that they've designed so that they can design things to be made, so design for manufacture. And rather than going through a 4-year engineering program and making very little or making nothing, and then going out and designing things to be made, our students hopefully, as soon as they have an idea and put pencil to napkin with that idea, they're thinking about how is that going to be made. I'm always amazed still at how many people will come in and look around and say, I never knew there was a place like this on campus. They don't know about it. Sometimes we'll have students transfer from other programs and they'll say, boy, if I had known that this was here, I might have come here in the first place.
The real reason a lot of students came to the University of Maine for the Mechanical Engineering Technology program, because we do have that machine tool lab, which is kind of a dying lab out there. There's not a lot of schools that have a full, I don't want to say industrial arts, but it's a more hands-on application of mechanical engineering. And I think a lot of students, especially Maine students that have grown up from around the state of Maine, see that as a real opportunity to be able to do the hands-on access and work with the equipment in that lab.
I think the beauty of the MTL is that it didn't change at all. The people that come through here change, but ultimately I think the building is the same as it ever was. Not very well insulated windows, still the same brick building that was here for my great-grandfather, and I think that's one of the beauties of it. I think my dad even used the same bridge ports as what's in there.
Sometimes a student might struggle in a classroom with prelims and book learning, but they shine here in the lab. They're creative people that produce outstanding inventions. We often had design competitions, and you'd be amazed how students would rise above the class and produce the most outstanding inventions, people you might not notice quite as much in the classroom.
And of course it's also allowed them to build their capstone projects. We have the CNC equipment, so they've been able to make some things that they wouldn't have been able to make otherwise with conventional machines. It's been a great place it's been a community for the students. They meet in this building. They do their homework together in this building. We have steam engine competitions in this building. So there's a lot of history here with the MET program.
You know, believe it or not, the most memorable moments are when we leave the building with a new product and use it. Over the years, we often had design competitions or design expositions where we would show off the products, sometimes in competitions that were pretty exciting, usually outside for the public, sometimes in different locations, maybe at a museum like Leonard's Mills, or maybe at a customer's home. But it's so exciting to see the customer finally see the product and put it to use.
My fondest memory of being in the tool lab was the last couple weeks before a semester was over. There was always a project going on in the tool lab itself. I remember helping a couple friends out because I got my project done before them. You know, late nights here in the shop, trying to get things done. I think that was the greatest memory from this place.
I also remember the man that taught in this particular room where the machines are had a real problem with the sight of blood. And I can remember him telling everybody, he said, now, if any of you happen to do something and you cut yourself on one of these machines, he said, just say something to me as you're leaving, but go directly to the infirmary. Because he said, if you show it to me, he said, they're going to have to deal with two people, you bleeding and me passed out.
I have the nostalgia of losing the building and many hours here. I mean, I've spent many times when I've been here until 11 or 12 o'clock at night, you know, everybody else has gone home, parking lot's empty, and I'm here with a couple of students helping them on a CNC machine or something. So yeah, I definitely have some feelings about losing the building.
I feel very fortunate to have been able to work here. It almost doesn't seem like a job sometimes. I've really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed working with the wonderful students, and we're so lucky to have a lab where we can come in and build things like this, and the support from wonderful faculty who are good to work with and are always helpful. Very lucky.
As the time of the current iteration of the Machine Tool Lab comes to an end, we look forward to the future. The Furland Engineering Education and Design Center will feature a new modern space for mechanical engineering technology students to learn their craft.
This new building I'm so jealous of. It's going to be fantastic. It's exciting. I'm very jealous that I'm not going to be able to, you know, take any classes there, but it's kind of bittersweet though. This, you know, it definitely needs an upgrade, but there's so much history here, it's kind of sad to see it go.
You know, the new engineering building will serve engineering students in the future a lot better than that building probably ever could. It's not gone, it won't be gone. The building will be gone, yes, but I think the spirit of it all will be preserved in the new building.
Sad day when they do take that building down. It's a very unique building, you know, and a lot of history of being the forge and foundry of the original land-grant university here in the state of Maine. So I really hope that pieces and parts of that building, including the signs, will be preserved in the new facility. You know, you walk by the place at night and, you know, there's a bunch of students working away in the capstone area, and it's a really neat looking picture, you know, with the old windows and the old lights and the students working away in that lab. You could have, you know, taken that as a snapshot from 1940.
Yes, I'm excited that the new engineering building is going to emphasize student projects and the creative process. To me, that's one of the most exciting parts of engineering, and I'm glad to see it featured as a key part of the new building.
You know, the building itself going is not as important as what goes on inside the building. And the fact that a lot of these functions will be replaced in the new building and probably replaced with equipment that is more in keeping with what's being used in the current industry. There's a lot of exciting stuff on the horizon, a lot of exciting stuff that has already happened, but there's a lot more to come.